What's up?
Hey, I will keep this short because I'm busy and I know you're busy too.
Yeah, yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. Like my experience, I think most it's easy to clump together Chinese American people because like physically there is a similarity in the way they look, but it's not it's like any other race where it's really that is not the defining feature and it's more the experience. Like for me, my like what defines me more than being a Hunshuar is that like I'm a third culture kid and I went to an international school.
Yeah.
That's more the defining feature where I grew up in a community that was a bubble within China.
Right.
But me being half Chinese, half American made it even weirder for myself because I was living in one culture that was my mother's culture while I had this international influence that was more like my father's culture, but not really because it was a British school and it was also international, so it wasn't really held
Right.
to any specific nationality or anything like
Right.
that. And so I was really in like a limbo type of situation where there was not really too much of any cultural identity that I could hold on to.
Right.
And so it wasn't like whether or not I mean when I was younger it was America versus China
Uh-huh.
type of thing. But then once I grew older, it was more that I just realized like it's neither.
Okay. So you kind of you're saying like you have your it's like a separate identity. Like it doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yeah, but also it's if anything at this point I would say Chinese because
Okay.
going to America made me realize that even though I was in this bubble in China, that it wasn't a bubble, a pure bubble. Like
Okay.
there was still like first of all my mom and the Chinese side of my family I'm much closer to than my American side of the family. So there is things that root me to China more than America. Like I don't feel American at all. Like I
Oh,
wouldn't say I'm
interesting.
American. Other than my passport,
Interesting.
I will not say that I'm an American person.
I think you mentioned to me and Han before, but like, what kind of like did you
Mhm.
experience any type of discrimination? Like,
Yeah, so that's another like I wouldn't I don't know what kind of like discrimination is.
I think it's too strong of a word.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
even for
Because
me, like when I go there, like people always like they will not classify me as Chinese. Like
yeah,
I'm like so different, and so like I don't know how your experience was.
yeah. So for me, it wasn't that there was discrimination in the sense that Chinese people wanted to make me feel like I didn't belong. But it was just because, if you look physically different to everyone else, they'll treat you differently.
Yeah.
Because I don't look Chinese, and it's not that I can't blame them for thinking that I look white because in their eyes I look white. I don't look like a normal Chinese person.
Yeah.
So they'll speak to me or they like if I speak to them in Chinese, then they'll be surprised and they'll think, "How do you speak such good
Oh,
Chinese?"
yeah.
And then I'll say, 我不会学,
Uh-huh.
and then just from there they'll realize, oh, okay, this kid's mixed, and then they ask where my mom's from, where my dad's from, and then it's just a normal conversation. At that point, there's no discrimination. Like they just get interested.
Okay.
So it's really like, especially because there is, like, if I went in and started speaking English, it probably would be very different, and they would have a different attitude. But because I just like automatically speak Chinese to them, and I can explain my situation, it's more that they just get interested and they like everyone this the one I guess point of discrimination that I can say Chinese people have towards like almost all 混血儿 is that every time they say 混血儿 they're like oh 混血儿还是挺漂亮挺帅挺
Oh,
whatever,
okay, yeah.
and they'll say that kind of stuff, but it's not like
Yeah,
discrimination.
I
It's not
feel
discrimination,
I
I'd
feel
say.
like yeah, I don't know what the word is then, but like I feel like our experiences are so different because when I go, like I don't get that reaction. I'm like they're like, why can't you speak Chinese
Yeah.
like perfectly? Like why did your parents take you to the U.S.?
Yeah, we had like in our school, there's always in every grade there's probably like two or three half
Oh,
at least.
okay.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, because I don't know. Whenever I go there, like I know there's a lot in the U.S., but whenever I go there, like I never see any. And I think on this trip, like actually doing this project with you, starting first, like
Hmm.
that's I'm gonna continue it. Like I found like a girl from Xinjiang, and she's like Russian
Yeah.
Chinese, and I think that's so
Oh,
cool. And
okay.
she talked to me about like
Oh.
her religion, like how her religion like siloed her and her family, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, her friends. So I don't know. I think there's China's so big, but so much of the media is focused on like this one type of homogenous Chinese person. But like actually, when you
Yeah.
go there, there's so many different types. But
Hmm.
I don't know. No one ever talks about it. So I think it's so
Hmm.
interesting. Okay.
No, I
Last.
understand what you're trying to say.
Uh,
But also, I
yeah.
just wanted to say something kind of funny. My every time I go to Guangzhou, my uncle, he like if he takes us somewhere and there's like we go to a Xinjiang restaurant, or like he knows some butcher from Xinjiang that's selling lamb or something, he'll always say that me and my brother are from Xinjiang.
Oh, you kind of do look like my friend.
So, so he will always like he'll always see if he can play it off that we're actually from Xinjiang.
Does it work?
And it works sometimes. Like he'll tell them that we're like Mingxing from
I mean,
like we're some sort of stars from Xinjiang, and then people kind of like laugh and smile and play along. I don't know if they really buy it, but it's quite funny.
that's funny.
I so I'm not. I don't think I'm the best person to talk about in terms of living in or finding a community, because I think from my experience in Beijing, and also I don't know what it is about me, but I just don't like I don't even bother with finding a community or a group to
Oh,
either like define myself by
that's
or
cool.
even to find comfort in.
Uh-huh.
Like I in Cornell, I don't really have friends that I spend time with,
Uh-huh.
and it's mostly because either I don't really the way they spend their time isn't something that I think is a valuable way of spending my time, and I think that it's a waste. It's a waste of my time that I could be spending doing more valuable things.
Totally.
Or it is also kind of there's no one that shares this common experience with me of being like a third culture kid at international school, being someone that's just kind of I guess not a loner, but I would call myself a loner, but there's yeah, there's just it's hard to find people that I can really relate to,
Mm.
and I've learned to just give that up.
Mm.
And so I definitely haven't found the community here
Mm.
that's like that I can share and feel like these people really understand what I'm going through. But it's also because I never really bothered too
Uh,
much to find that, because I don't feel that I need it, because I have my friends from back home that I call once in a while and we talk.
that's nice.
But I usually like I can deal with most things on my own, so I'm not I'm not looking for that kind of support.
I think that's good. I think sometimes when so often when people are looking for that, they're not really comfortable with themselves. So I feel like they're looking for validation from other
Mm-hmm.
people. But I feel like if you're just independent and like I feel like
But
then
also I think it's because I'm not confused about my identity.
oh
I'm not confused about any of this, because I feel like a lot of American-born Chinese, and I don't know if it is a generalization, but I feel like they're quite lost in trying to find like who they are culturally and
yeah
what they can define as being their own in terms of like this is Chinese culture, but they didn't really grow up in Chinese culture, so
right
then they're trying to find something to latch on to.
right
But I don't I'm quite sure of what is like I not even culturally, but because I don't in terms of Chinese culture, like it's all of the Chinese culture that is relevant to me is stuff that like my mom does.
okay
So what I understand to be Chinese is pretty much the way my mom lives. So
yeah
it's not really Chinese at all. It's just like what my family was like.
oh yeah
So my identity is very much one that was shaped by my parents
yeah
and somewhat by my school and my friends. But it's not Chinese. And so there are elements of Chinese, and if anything, it's more Chinese than American or any
mm.
other culture. But in the end, I don't like I know who I am because my identity is very much specific to my upbringing and
Yeah,
my
yeah,
or
yeah.
my personal history. So
Yeah.
I'm not confused about that.
I like that. I mean, that's not my experience, but like I think that's, yeah, I think that's a very unique experience. I think what you said about ABC, like that was more my experience, but of like trying to
Mhm.
latch onto a certain culture when I,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think that's, yeah, I really like what you said. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure if this is like, it's definitely not applicable to every
No, and
quiz.
I think that's better. I
Yeah.
think it's better to talk about your own individual experience. I think
Hmm.
when it just fits into a box, that doesn't really make it
Yeah.
unique. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Let me know if you let me or Han know if when you come back to New York. But like, yeah, I
Yeah.
posted the
Yeah.
picture and like
Definitely.
it did really really well. And like so many people reached out there. Like, who is that? And I'm like, you should book him. Like, pay him a lot and book him. So we'll see. We'll see what
All right.
happens. Yeah.
And also, I think IMG was asking you, but do you know when you'll send the images over?
So I'm after actually this, I'm almost done with all of them. I'm gonna
No,
send them.
there's no rush
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm not doing anything in a rush either.
I'm gonna send. I told Morgan I'm gonna send it to her by Monday because I know she's at
Okay.
Coachella. And
Yeah.
then yeah, I just want to do a really good job on yours. How was it? Oh, how was the other shoot? I never.
The other shoe was good. So
Okay.
if you go on the website, the first on my profile, it's already been updated
Oh,
on the
okay, okay,
profile.
okay.
The first, I think it's like 8 photos from that one. They're like I actually am quite happy with them because they look like me.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
So they're not like they don't make me feel weird about them,
Okay,
which
okay,
is
okay. That's good. Was he
'cause,
nice?
yeah, he was great. He was quick and it was efficient. So
Okay.
it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out. Yeah. Did they book any other shoots for you?
No, so I had to go back to New York for a fitting with Fila and Philip
Oh,
Lim,
right.
but I didn't get it. They didn't confirm me. So I'm gonna be back probably sometime after summer. I'm gonna go home for a bit and
Yeah.
then go to New York whenever IMG tells me I have to go back.
That's good.
And
That's
then
good.
from there we'll see whatever jobs I get,
That's
whatever
good.
they want me to do.
Hopefully you'll be busy after you graduate. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. That's the plan that I'm just gonna really commit after graduate for like a year or two, see what happens.
yeah. I'm actually hoping like the not Han, but the two other male designers that
Yeah.
you work. I'm hoping they'll book you for like their campaigns because I know they're really wealthy Chinese kids and their brands are doing like so well in China
Hmm.
and in the U.S. I'm hoping they'll like see the pictures and book you. So we'll see what
Okay.
happens. I'll keep you
Yeah.
updated. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck and let me know when you're in New
Okay.
York.
Uh huh. Yeah.
Bye, Peter.
All right. See you, man.